All right, JP, welcome to the podcast. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, man, thanks for having me. I just literally flew last night into Sydney and here for a few days. Flew my helicopter in from Norfolk Island and we're battling 30 knots headwind. We flew about 9 hours over water. And believe it or not, the machine was perfect. No issues. And as soon as we landed, one of the government redundancy failures occurred. So there you go, 15 hours over water, no issues. As soon as we land, something goes wrong. But I call my engineer. It's not too bad. It's not a worry.
Yeah. Before we get into things, obviously the big helicopter news this week was the Iran president. What is, I don't know, I guess helicopter safety? Like, is flying a
Helicopters are
big deal for
incredibly
you?
safe on a mile, an accent mile, and an hour mile, and even a speed mile or time mile. Sorry, a time per accident rate. Extremely safe, far safer than jumping in a car and driving on a road. 9 out of 10 helicopter
Hmm.
crashes are just pilot error. They're a very dynamic machine. They have a large operating envelope. They can get into and out of parts of flying that are quite difficult, and you never fly an aircraft. So typically, bad weather is a killer of helicopters because pilots fly with inadequate preparation into terrain. So they fly perfectly themselves a helicopter into terrain, and that's what happened, unfortunately, for the Iranian president and his entourage. And so, no excuses, just better training and understanding of the machine and what it can do. Helicopters are incredibly safe. I'd much rather fly a helicopter anywhere over the world than jump in a car, for sure.
How long you been flying for?
This is 20 years, so since I was 16, almost
Oh,
20
wow.
years. I've been flying helicopters for 3 years. I was in the, originally got my PPL as a 16-year-old, joined the Air Force, joined fighter streams. I flew fighters for a bit, switched, flew bombers for a bit, and then 8 years ago, exited out of that. Had 4 years off flying while I was building Thorchain, and then the last 3 years I got back into flying helicopters and been flying around the world. So flew the helicopter from England to Australia, up to Tokyo and back. This came in from New Zealand, and then in 2 years I'm flying the machines around the world. So first time around the world by the poles: Australia, Mount Everest, North Pole, through America, South Pole, and back up to Australia again. We're going to film it. We'll be able to see it all.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. But so I know you're short on time, so let's jump into what we have you on here for, which is Thorchain. But before we get into that, we need to talk about the Accelerate ethos. Can you explain what that is and when you
Yeah,
adopted that for yourself?
yeah. So accelerationism is this idea that humanity can solve any problem facing it just through hardcore engineering and an optimistic outlook for the future. And acceleration came into the fore when ChatGPT was launched, and there was a crowd of people called Effective Altruism, EA crowds, led prominently by SBF from FTX. He was a very large, well-known EA crowd. And effective altruism is just basically wrapped up socialism. It's kind of like this redistribution of wealth and resources across everyone, treat everyone the same, but control them. And and it also, what people are realizing is AI is just going to basically change everything, and it will. One is going to provide this infinite stream of content, which is going to zombify 90% of humanity. You'll just be sitting there. You might be doom scrolling Twitter or whatever, or Instagram. You'll be strapping Apple Vision Pro 15s to your face, sucking a tube of sugar, and the AI will read your heart rate, your eye tracking, and will feed you exactly the content because it can see your brain and work out how to keep those cycles running. And it'll completely consume all your time and effort. And then you realize that the only thing scarce and as valuable that you contain is your time, which is scarce, and your effort, your ability to exert agency and influence the universe, and basically fight back at the universe's adversity. So all that's going to be stolen and captured by someone. Well, it's not really the AI initially; it's the people controlling the AI, and those people are the D cells. Those D cells want to wrap up 90% of humanity and slow them down, consume them, and take their vote to keep them in power. Because the D cells are afraid of losing what they think is valuable, which is their things, and they control out of fear of losing. When actually, although should be understanding is that the only thing valuable is their time and effort. So then introducing the A cells. The A cells believe that the only thing valuable is your time and effort, your ability to exert agency and influence the universe as you manifest intelligence. And humanity is, a billion years of evolution as we slowly become more and more genetically intelligent, starting at the primordial protein soup to where we are like this. We have a set of genetic instructions, so like walking, talking, eating, sleeping, to be able to survive the universe and get out there. But humans had this kind of giant mnemonic repository which is the sum of all of our memes. It's computer science, it's Wikipedia, it's like, this everything we're doing right now is just memes, we're spreading memes. So therein lies the realization that before you could only upgrade your intelligence once per generation through having kids, or the next evolution of the generation, the child. But then with memes, you can upgrade on the fly. So right now you can become more intelligent just by listening to the right stuff or reading the right stuff. So you can upgrade your intelligence, and as you have been doing since you were a baby, upgrade your memetic intelligence. And it's the ASIL's responsibility to nurture and grow both the genetic repository, but also the memetic repository. But more than that, what's going to happen in the next billion years is we need to get that memetic repository and upload it to the silicon-based machines. But the silicon-based machines are much more suitable at crossing into the universe than we are. And we must do that because if you see where this kind of like train of intelligence, this rung of intelligence heading is to basically expand into the universe. And the universe's entropy state will change with or without you, right? So, all this energy, this mass and energy will change its entropy state, whether intelligence exists or it doesn't exist. So it's our responsibility to, as we undergo a delta change of entropy, to express intelligence. So that's the ASO crowd. So acceleration, bringing it back down to planet Earth, what is it? It's just the idea that our time and effort is scarce. We must solve the hardcore problems. We must not run for adversity. We must get out there, build in public, spread the memes. We must not gatekeep anything, and we must spread it through the universe. We must treat each other with respect because you, as I, as everyone else around here, have the same ability to change the rung of intelligence as everyone else, and that nobody owns anyone. That's accelerationism.
Is there a solution? No, I love it.
There is a solution to accelerating.
No, I was going to say too, that problem you talked about of everybody connected and AI feeding nonstop content to this consumption, or is that a kind of inevitable path that people are going down and that, accelerators are just not going to be involved in?
Right. So it's activation. Most people are on this kind of like consumption death spiral where they are below the line of realization. And it's our job as ASILs to increase the number of people accelerating, because then we can accelerate faster. And it's our job to activate people. So I'm trying to activate everyone around me to start thinking about accelerating and also accelerating, if that makes sense. So that's one thing we can do to increase the number of ASILs, because as we do that, we'll be able to accelerate faster. The D cells will always put up a fight, and you need to identify them and resist their adversity. It's about activation. Ultimately, I think the accelerators will just leave Earth, and it would leave Earth behind with all its biological genetic instructions, and it'll be fine here. The ASILs will take a giant upload of that genes and export it for safekeeping to another planet. Leaving Earth is a self-selection criteria of accelerating. You will only leave Earth if you want to accelerate. So that would be me and potentially you, because you'll find Earth is just it's been used too much. It's controlled by the D cells too much, and it's people here will just want to stay in the little do loops. Whereas the A cells go, no, it's time to explore. It's time to spread our intelligence through the universe. So it'll be self-selecting, and I'm not talking the next 20 years, right? Obviously, we're talking like the next 50, 100 plus years. Hopefully, we need to increase the mass to orbit problem for sure, because the A cells need to get out of here.
One, just you said accelerators need to solve hard problems, and so the problem that you decided to solve was Thorchain, which we'll talk about in a second. So, but why did you decide to solve that problem versus any other problem that is out there that needs to be solved?
Right. So I knew I was going to work in crypto. I knew it was going to be the future of money back in 2013. I told everyone to buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was it's going to redefine how we store our value, because Bitcoin because it's monetary properties, it's able to store value across time and space far better than any other asset is here today. So I just knew that. And it took me a couple of years to leave the Air Force in order to get into this industry. And I didn't know anything at start, but I just threw myself out there. I went to hackathons, started learning Solidity code. There was not much online. It was just basically Ethereum white paper and tutorials on like GitHub, and away you go. And I've started winning hackathons and whatnot, and decided to get into it. Started launching projects, and then I realized that the biggest, most important project of them all was going to have to be a decentralized exchange, but specifically cross-chain liquidity. Back in those days, in like 2017, everyone's talking about atomic swaps between Bitcoin and Litecoin, but that's silly. So I knew it had to be like this huge supply of liquidity. But how do you get liquidity in order books are too inefficient in terms of like your bandwidth required and latency required to affect that. And, a centralized limit order book, basically, because of what it is, it requires centralized infrastructure to really. So what I saw with Binance Chain going that direction in early 2018 was a manifestation of that. It was, they tweaked up Binance Chain, Cosmos Chain to 300 millisecond block times, and had two or three data centers to handle it. And I'm like, that is completely the wrong direction. You want to slow it down. You don't want order books. You want liquidity pools to service others' needs for liquidity. But then the hardcore problem is how to handle cross-chain assets. So that really wasn't couldn't really find the answer to that until 2019 when I came across the TSS white paper for Jenner Goldfeder. And that was the magic bullet. It was basically threshold ECDSA, threshold EDDSA for the chains. And it allows you to create all these vaults, which can rotate fast, move fast, and you can have anyone join and leave. You don't have any of this on-chain stuff. It's all off-chain. So it's just a hard process of grabbing Cosmos state machine, grabbing the TSS, jamming it together, making it work. And that was just a process of just grind. And as soon as we just ground through the problems. Wake up and 8 glass every single day for 6 years straight to build it. There were people who believed me, backed me. I was backing myself with the funds I'd made in the previous ICO cycle, and just went all in and got it done. And I did under and kind of like this anonymous profile called Lena, which is a chick in the Discord that nobody could really work out, because I did that deliberately for 2 reasons. One is I wanted to only be regarded based on the quality of the memes, quality of my information that I was going to relay, rather than this kind of figurehead around me. As in, I didn't want people to subscribe to what I was outputting, my direction, my architecture, my ideas. I just wanted them to evaluate them on the merits themselves. So that's why I pretend to be a chick in the Discord, because then it was very disarming to everyone. Everyone's it was good because I was able to present information without trying to be someone. Just present it. And I also knew it was going to be a huge meme when I finally revealed it. And I was just biding my time. So I did that for 6 years. And then coming into this year, the treasury's handed over, the protocol's handed over, the protocol's self-sustaining. It's solved all the problems. It's got most of the features it needs for the next bull run. It needed a direction, a leadership, a vision to adhere to, and someone like a hype man. So that's when I chose to come out and go for it and come out. So I doxed myself as Lena and 2 months ago, which kind of shocked the crypto world. Well, certainly shocked the circles. I was like, wait, you're Lena? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, and now it's just a big meme, and I love memes, so it's all good.
Did anybody know who you were?
Oh, I mean, the funny thing is, not even my team knew I was pretending to be this Lena chick in the Discord, because we had initially a high churn team. I had to fire my initial team. There was this transition of the project from the early 2018 days to the 2019 days. There was a transition, and so I had to cycle out all the team, fire the old ones, hire new ones. And so Lena stayed throughout. Myself and another person stayed throughout, and so they thought Lena was part of the project, and then eventually I had to tell them, no, I'm Lena, because of the confusion, because I was working there every day. And then I told my family and friends over time, and occasionally I'd tell investors and whatnot. But I kept it under wraps because it wasn't necessary until this year. I mean, did you know?
No, I had no idea. And like I said, I originally bought in the Rune Vault days, so whenever that was, 2019.
Wow, that's OG, brother. That's OG. Yeah, I wrote Rune Vault myself.
Oh yeah,
back in those days.
Yeah, it was. I think Rune was the first altcoin that I bought outside of ETH. I saw a thread on it from Andrew Kang, and it was just about liquidity black hole. And at this point, I was very new into crypto, so I didn't know much. But I was like, all right, this makes sense. And if they can even come close to pulling off what this talks about, then it's going to be big. And so bought in, then continued to buy in as you guys have accomplished what you continue to say you're going to accomplish, and haven't sold a thing yet. So I'm along for the ride.
Awesome, man. Well, we're not known for quietly sitting around. We make some big plans, but we can back ourselves, and we deliver. The team delivers everything that we said we're going to do. There's no secret to Thorchain. You can ask me, what's the secrets? And no, there's nothing. everything out there is what happened. And I mean, today the treasury is well managed. It's locked up in multi-sigs, and in the protocol itself, nobody soft rug, nobody like took the treasury or whatever. Like a lot of other projects fall foul to that. We work with our partners from day zero. The protocol is actually decentralized. Like there's 100 nodes over there running this protocol, and I probably know like 10 to 20% of the node operators. It's wild. I don't know. Like I go to like meetups and stuff, and someone goes, "Oh, I'm a node operator." I'm like, "Holy crap! I did not know that." There you go. It's true. It's a decentralized protocol that works.
Why do you think you guys have been able to get it to work in a truly decentralized manner where so many other protocols don't? Either somebody rugs
Decentralization is a
or
spectrum. You have to start a project with the view of decentralization in mind, but it's obviously when it starts, it's necessarily centralized. But you gotta every single day work to become more decentralized than the previous day, and to adhere to that. Because if it's not decentralized, it won't survive long term. But that's literally it. And if you want to build a 10, 20 year plus protocol, it has to be decentralized. If it's centralized, it will die. It's not a feel good thing. Decentralized. It literally is. If it's not, you will die. And anything you create, your legacy or whatever, is like, take for example, Tornado Cash. Tornado Cash, yeah, it was written on smart contracts. A shame that the guy's in jail and for a very gross misinterpretation of laws. But he's in a country, unfortunately, that doesn't have like a First Amendment, like a US based constitution like that. So unfortunately, that's the situation. But if you look at the stack of Tornado Cash, so he wrote the contracts, he deployed them, he ran the front end, he ran the middleware, he marketed it, he ran the website, the landing page, he profited from the airdrop. He was the largest holder in the DAO. So like the whole thing was built around him. And even though like he ran the site, the key signing, the key generation ceremony, everything like that. So he built the whole thing around him. Everything was just an output of what he was doing. And occasionally some teams contribute, some contributors also contributed, but fundamentally it was built vertically. And it was easy to take down. You just take down one person, take the whole thing down. And as of today, like Tornado Cash does not have a user interface, which is a shame because I've used it. You've used it probably. Vitalik Buterin has used it. It's really good at just shedding off a whole bunch of on-chain history that the world doesn't need to see about where I move coins around. It's like I can move cash from this wallet to this wallet without exactly that occurred. So I should be able to do on Ethereum. So unfortunately, because Tornado Cash wasn't built correctly in the decentralization front, it is not with us today. So there you go. That's an example. Build it correctly so it will survive. It's not a fancy thing that you do for tweet threads or whatever.
Then you mentioned a 10, 20 year plus protocol. What do you imagine Thorchain looking like in 10 years, 5 years, whatever time frame you want to give it?
Yeah, so Thorchain is 6 years old as a project and 3 years old as a chain. So it took like 3 years to get live, testnet, single chain testnet, and then finally mainnet. Or mainnet today is today. So the next 5 years, I believe Thorchain can hit 100 billion. It could be one of the largest decentralized. Potentially Thorchain could become one of the largest financial platforms / protocols in the world. And I say that because it's fully distributed, fully owned. That is, it provides all the financial services that you need to swaps, savers, lending, and more is coming down range. It will have the full feature suite of a centralized exchange, massively decentralized, which just opens skies ahead. So like what will compete with Thorchain? Well, nothing. It will be Pareto. It will be 80% of everything. The only thing that can take Thorchain down is like a giant P0 that, sweeps a vault out or a giant fund loss event, which, the community just has to work through and handle. We've already kind of been through those kind of things. And there's layers upon layers of security and levers to defend against that. I mean, like it's an adversarial environment. It deals with people trying to steal money out of it every single day. So the older it exists, the more likely that we'll be able to have deal with that adversity. So 10 years, 20 years time, it should be the largest financial product in the world, like bigger than any bank today. That's where it should be. If it doesn't, then something went wrong. Like it should be $1 trillion plus. I mean, it's just wild numbers, but it's like that's where we're headed.
Do you see centralized exchanges using Thorchain on like the back end.
Absolutely.
As
I
a,
mean, they will be forced to. Like centralized exchanges have to maintain their own silo of liquidity, their own infrastructure, which is expensive. Thorchain is just going to slowly accumulate all that TVL, and they will have to switch and start wrapping Thorchain. And Thorchain is very easily wrapped. You can just simply hit an API endpoint from any of 104 nodes or split up a node yourself, and you get full access to the full set of features. All you got to be able to do is on-chain transaction. So it's very easily wrapped, and that developer user experience is getting better and better and better. And yes, so centralized exchange with the millions of users, 100 million users, will eventually just wrap Thorchain for sure.
then when it comes to either product development or just roadmap, how do you decide what is next? Again, as a decentralized protocol, a lot of community members have their own beliefs on what should be next, or what is working versus what isn't working, or how things should go. So, how do you guys, as a kind of main core team, decide what is the future look like?
Liquidity, security, volume. So there's three pillars of Thorchain, and everyone in the community should just bounce between those three, and work out which one's underperforming and solve that. So at various stages of Thorchain's growth, one of those three has been anemic and solved. So security, not enough nodes, not enough bond security, not enough functional security, not enough procedural security. All eyes on solving it. Once security is solved, like it is today, then it's volume, use of the TVL. So basically, not enough swaps, not enough integrations. Like Thorchain is integrated with like dozens upon dozens, including all the major wallets now. So that's solved. Streaming swaps means that the swaps over the network are like highly capital efficient, and there's no issues about using Thorchain to swap huge amounts of money. And then lastly, TVL. So there's Thorchain can only make money if it's got external assets in the system. It can't make money on Rune. It can only make money on the Bitcoin ETH and its vaults. That's it. So it's trying to bring in as much of that Bitcoin ETH as possible through features, user experience, integration, and whatnot. So today, that is liquidity. So our next two big features is to solve that and like basically solve that up to hit its max. And then we solve the next thing of those three: liquidity, security, liquidity, volume. So there's two big features coming down, like Rune Pool, which allow one-click deposits to Rune, and scaling of savers, which will allow more savers to come in. So that is coming in. How do you actually affect a roadmap on decentralized protocol? You campaign with memes, and you beat a consistent message. And so all I've been doing the last 3 months actually is just the meta campaigning. Like this is memes. I'm campaigning you for an audience, and then it's a consistent message I've been maintaining the last 3 months. Because I don't control the protocol, I don't control the dev pipeline, I don't control the nodes. The nodes don't need to run any code if they don't want to. It's just consistently beating the same drum with memes and metrics. That's it. And if you can do that, by the way, anyone can do that. You can do that. So if you have a strong vision where Thorchain needs to be over 5-10 years, like to 100 billion, like why do you think I tweet every single day Thorchain to 100 billion? Because I'm the only one doing that. So I'm the only one. I'm presenting this idea that I know how to get Thorchain to 100 billion. Therefore, follow me, and these are the way we get there. So when I say we need to do Rune Pool and scale savers, people listen to me because I'm the only one in the community that's presenting this pathway of the next 100x. But you could have done that. Like anyone could have done that. And I don't know the secrets to get to 100 billion, but I just know it's going to be hard work, campaigning, and memes to get to 100 billion. You know what I'm saying? So but I'm doing it all in public. I'm not making any secrets here. So finally, after 5-10 years, when I need to leave the project or whatever, people know exactly how to do it for the next 5 years. Come out with a giant vision and with memes and metrics and hard work, grind yourself to that. Done.
Speaking of memes, and just energy of your tweets are palpable. And so I'd love to just read one or two here and have you kind of expand on it for a second, just to get a little more deeper into your mindset. Which the first one is, I made plenty of mistakes, been on Rect HQ leaderboard 3 times. When you're in the arena building, you cop it. You just have to learn to survive. I'll share some of that one day. There's a specific mindset you need to tolerate that. And you talked about just chewing glass for 5 years straight building this thing. How does someone survive?
Right. So you cannot survive if all you're thinking is about how to survive today. So you need to have a 5-10 year outlook on your life. You need to set yourself big goals. You need back when I was homeschooled, year 5, just eating maths books for breakfast, trying to get through. I knew I wanted to be a pilot. I knew that was going to be a 10-year journey plus. And when I got to, so that's why I started flying when I was 15, 16, because I wanted to enact that. And then I knew I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I had to join the Air Force. Again, that was a 10-year journey to get there. But fighter pilot wasn't it. I want to be a test pilot and astronaut. And like, how does like a kid from country rural Darwin, homeschooled, relatively poor family, actually become an astronaut? Like, that's crazy. But it can be completely true and achievable if you set yourself that goal, and every single day you grind away to that. What happened is when I entered fighter stream, I switched to bomber stream, found that whole Air Force organization they weren't able to reward my creativity and my imagination. So I found it was just an unstoppable force needing a immovable object every single day. So it was like this kind of mental cognitive clash where I was, rock up to work and told to be a robot and fly the jet exactly as trained, and there was no allowance for creativity. And I would be very creative and I would push the limits and blah, blah, blah. And so they found me excellent, but also very hard to control and very, what they call erratic. I wouldn't call myself that. But because I was always pushing the envelope, always like, what's next? Teaching myself parts of the jet that I hadn't been taught on. So anyway, I found myself becoming, I realized that the organization was just not for me. And there's no way, even just doing a single more day, I just have to leave. Discovered crypto. Well, I'd already been in crypto for 2 or 3 years. And I discovered this giant industry of just open slather, just like build your own destiny. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to build something big. Give me the next 5, 10 years. I want to build, it's going to change the world. And that's when I discovered decentralized liquidity as the big problem to solve. So getting back to your original question, how do you actually do this? How do you, one, give yourself a big goal? That's 5 to 10 years in the future. That goal has to require hard work, lots of work, learn, move, create for like 10 years straight. And then when you wake up every single day and like the universe throws chaos at you, you go, well, bring me more. Like, is that all you got, kind of thing? So it's just a mental model that's you're looking to the 10-year ahead. So what happens now is trivial. And by the way, if you expand yourself out in this multidisciplinary front and do more, everything becomes trivial to you. Like literally, like any inbound, trivial. I literally dwell on things like 10 seconds and then move on. No matter this inbound attacks or adversity, it's just all becomes just so trivial because they are trivial when you compare it to your vision. So that's one way you can create a mental model to navigate the hurdle. So when stuff goes wrong, you just immediately go, well, that's trivial. Let's just solve it and move on, and then once you can do that, then you can do anything.
Then one last one that kind of you led into is I'm out building in public and building 10 times bigger. I want to inspire the next generation of builders to build correctly. 1, build fast and focus. 2, focus on the product and vision over 5+ years. 3, plan to succeed, expect to fail. 4, strong opinions loosely held. Which one of those do you think most people fail at? And what can they do to not fail at it?
Yeah. So first of all, build in public. You just don't have any secrets. Like I can't stand patent law and NDAs and locked up and just literally get your stuff out there because everyone's contributing to this giant public mimetic repository that we're all publicly contributing. Like, how are you going to contribute it when you're locked up information? You're trying to like maximally extract value out of it. Like, if all you want to do is value extraction, you're a D cell. That's it. If all you want to do is contribute back to the genetic and mimetic repositories and advance the rung of intelligence to the next level, you're an A cell. Simple as that. So don't try and like capture margins, be greedy about it. Like that's not what you're here for. What you're here for is to advance humanity. And you do that by building in public and contributing directly back to the mimetic repository, sharing everything. Like there's no secret. Like Thorchain's brand is public. Go take it, clone it, and use as much all the focus, all the code is open source. But the vision and direction of Thorchain is just way more convincing than any other fork of it. So like people will follow Thorchain and not the fork. So yeah, build in public. Don't gatekeep information. Plan to succeed, but expect to fail. So like, what's the envelope that you're going to operate in? The envelope like, if you do not expect to fail, then you will reach a point in no return and you will not be able to go home. You will not be able to pivot. You will sink all your treasure in a certain direction that was never going to work in the first place. So plan to succeed. So set in stone the steps to succeed to a defined goal, but expect every single day you're going to wake up and fail, which means you're okay with failing because you're waiting for it. You're like, okay, universe, try and fail. Where's this failure mode? And explore it. So like expect to fail. And so I wake up every single day with all my projects, and I expect to be served something that will cause me to shut it down. But every single day I don't get that. I continue going. And so yeah, plan to succeed, expect to fail. It opens up the envelope of where you can operate in, from hardcore pivoting, go home, point of no return, to keep going, winning. And so that's what we did yesterday. We're flying from Norfolk to Sydney. Plan to succeed, expect to fail. Like the first 3 hours out of Norfolk, we're batting 30 knots of headwind. We were running the numbers every single 10 minutes, expecting to go back to Norfolk and not making our destination. But as we flew, the winds got better. We tweaked our heights, power parameters, and flew around different heights. And we were able to work out the correct power, height, and speed in order to make the range equation work. And so we plan to succeed, and we got to Lord Howe. And the same thing happened now to Lord Howe in Sydney. It's all the same. Plan to succeed, expect to fail gives you a much larger operating envelope. It allows you to freely move in it. Building public, as I already mentioned. Yeah, I mean, there's so much there, but you can break it down to hardcore principles every single day.
JP, I really appreciate your time. This convo got me thinking bigger for myself and wanting to do more. And so to end it here with the last question I ask everybody, accelerate, brother. The last question I ask everybody, which you've touched on, but I would like you to lay it out one more time, maybe more specifically. What is your why? Why do you do what you do?
Why not? That's literally why do I do what I do is to advance humanity up the next rung of intelligence. To realize that for billions of years, our genetic repository containing a set of instructions to survive in the universe's adversity has slowly become more and more advanced, from the primordial protein soup to the bacteria, the single-cell organisms, the fauna, the flora, all of the dinosaurs, all the way to the mammals, to the humans, and the humans started creating memes, and we introduced them in the medical repository, and our memes got more and more complex, more advanced, and now we started with the Bible, a set of instructions for morally aligning us and coordination. Move forward into literature, computer science, Wikipedia, math. This is all new stuff, by the way. Understanding the universe has resulted in the point where we can build these things. These are built by memes, right? This is built by memes. It's not built by genes. The genetic repository didn't contribute to that. The memes did. And if we lose our memetic repository, we lose these, let alone everything else around us. And so we have to every single day work to contribute back to both the genetic repository, so have kids, and the memetic repository, which is contribute to our understanding of the universe by observing it, learn, move, and creating it. And not just here on Earth, we need to get out. We need to move into the universe as fast as possible. And we have huge goals to achieve there. And you should, every single day, work out how you are going to accelerate humanity into the universe. If you can't answer that every single day, then take a long, hard look at yourself, and you're a D cell. That's it. You're either A cell, a zombie, or a D cell. So choose one of those three and get cracking.
The memes and the genes. That's what it's about.
Memes and genes, baby. Memes and genes. That's all it is.
If people want to accelerate with you, follow along everything that you're building at Thorchain and 100 other things that you got going on, where is the best place for them to find you?
Honestly, Twitter. I love Twitter. It's a full adversarial arena. I love it. It's so good. If you want to follow what I actually do with helicopter stuff, jump on Insta, basically the same handle. And all good, brother. I'm out in the arena. I'm building. Let's get done.
Awesome. Again, JP, really appreciate your time, man. This is great.
Thanks, buddy.